Hey there, this is John.
And I'm Josh.
And we are talking about the 2019 college football season, Week 8 results. If you remember, we went over the Week 8 preview with conference by conference, those who were still undefeated.
Right.
So we're still going to jump back into that. We're not going to follow the same pattern, but we're going to talk about just what went on this past weekend. But first of all, we had ACC, Clemson faced Louisville. And we said that Louisville, there was no way they were going to win this game.
We did, and there was no way they were going to win this game.
And they didn't win this game.
Not only was there no way, Lawrence started off the game 0-4 with 2 interceptions, and Louisville still never stood a chance.
Yeah.
I think I would say based off that Lawrence had a bad game, but honestly, his response to starting off so poorly was throwing for like 200-plus yards and 3 touchdowns after that with no more interceptions. He did what he needed to do.
He did.
He figured it out. He recovered.
45-10. That was it.
Game over.
Once again, Clemson is firmly in charge of the ACC at this point. Then we had Ohio State faced Northwestern. Nobody thought Northwestern had a chance, and they didn't have a chance.
Nope. This was even worse than the Clemson game.
It was.
Man, Ohio State absolutely steamrolled Northwestern. Exactly what you expect to see from them.
That is right.
They didn't make the same mistake as someone
so.
We're going to talk about.
Yeah. Okay. Then we had Michigan, one of the ranked games. Michigan faced Penn State. And they were at Penn State, and they had the whiteout.
It was so cool.
Yeah.
Wow, that was so cool. The way the crowd looked and everything, I felt like every single person in that crowd was wearing a white shirt, which usually things like that don't work. But man, Penn State figured something out. And then
they figured something out on the field as well.
It looked like they might lose it. It looked like Michigan was coming back, and at least Michigan made it like respectable because sometimes they don't in big games.
Yeah.
Good for Penn State. Still undefeated.
28-21.
That's impressive.
Good job.
They're up there in the rankings.
That's right. Hey, they were number 7, and I can't remember what they moved up to, but we'll talk about that soon.
I think they got something going.
Okay. Yeah, that is good for them. Then we also had the number 20 Minnesota, who had yet to be defeated, faced Rutgers, and we figured that they were going to win. They won big.
Yeah, it was a butt kicking.
It was
good for Minnesota. I don't really
7
understand how they're undefeated. I don't know.
I don't either.
Yeah,
I mean, they still haven't been tested. They haven't played at Wisconsin. They haven't played in Ohio State, some of the really tougher teams.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
That's exactly right. Then we had Wisconsin. Speaking of Wisconsin, they faced Illinois, and we were talking about their defense. Will they even allow Illinois to score? And they did.
And this was coach calling alone.
Yeah.
This was play calling, and that's what lost Wisconsin this game. It was a close game coming down to the end, and you're ahead, and you throw an interception.
Yeah.
You throw an interception? Oh my goodness. The play calling, absolutely abysmal. It killed me watching that game.
Well, and Cohen, I mean, he didn't have a great performance.
No, he didn't.
Honestly.
And the problem, I think, was Ohio State, better coaching, not looking ahead. Wisconsin, looking ahead towards Ohio State. Slip up, lose to Illinois.
Bad slip up.
Yep.
That's a bad slip up. 24-23, Illinois won that one. Then we had West Virginia faced Oklahoma at Oklahoma.
And did Hurts have a perfect game? No, he had 1 incompletion. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's not good enough.
Yeah.
This man, oh my goodness. It was like...
He is
almost
exactly
yards,
where he needs to be.
Like 3 touchdowns, ton of rushing yards. On the bright side, no one was injured, so I can say this. We have that hilarious clip of the wagon falling over.
Yes. That's right.
If someone was injured, it wouldn't be funny, but I did look it up. No one was injured, supposedly. Yeah. It looked painful.
Yeah.
The girl on top looked like she got flown. Like,
she did.
Wow. Yeah, but crazy.
It was. I'm just curious, Hurts, are you at all interested in coming back to Alabama?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They need you now.
Right now.
We'll talk about that
now, please.
In just a second.
Then we had number 18, Baylor. They were at Oklahoma State, and we were wondering if Oklahoma State was better than we thought.
Yeah, so Oklahoma State was
Baylor
favored in this.
Yeah, they were.
Baylor, they handled it. They did a good job.
45-27.
And they are still undefeated.
Yeah.
Who would have thought that?
Yep, and Brewer had 300 plus yards and a touchdown, and then Baylor got 21 points in the fourth quarter.
That's what you got to do to win games. You got to win the fourth quarter,
do.
Man, did Baylor win it.
They won it. All right, then we had Tennessee at Alabama.
The only thing to talk about in this game is Tua is out.
Tua is out.
And the lights look good.
Tua is out, and it was the same injury, different foot from last year, the high ankle injury, which we knew last year it pretty much ruined the rest of his season.
Yeah, so that's what you were talking about.
Perform.
That's what you were saying. Even when he came back. Different quarterback.
Yes, he was. He was tentative. You could tell he was favoring it. And unfortunately, that's probably what we're looking at. And Mac Brown.
I mean, essentially, I feel like you just take Tua out until the LSU game.
Yeah,
you just rest him. You make sure he gets healthy.
Gosh, you want to see if Mac Brown can improve at all.
I mean, and maybe he's never had an opportunity to actually. He's getting thrown into the Tennessee game, maybe starting with a team like Arkansas.
But you would think, okay, obviously this is a high-level recruit, but he looks like a deer in the headlights.
He really does.
Just looks afraid. He throws afraid, and just looks. It's very sad.
I think he knows the amount of pressure that's on him, and it's probably really affecting him.
Anybody that goes to Alabama, you know that.
We'll see. Good luck, Mac Brown. Hopefully you can do well against
still in the SEC. Yeah, we had number 2 LSU facing Mississippi State. Pretty much a beatdown.
It was, and Burrows is still healthy, and man, I think LSU's chomping their lips right now. We'll see what happens later on.
They're smelling some Crimson Tide.
They are. And they got a tough game ahead of them, too. This coming week, so we'll see how they do.
That's right. Then we had Florida that went to South Carolina,
and the referees single-handedly handed Florida this game. Absolutely, no question about it. The only reason that it is even, honestly, in my mind, even a close game, and the fact that Florida did win is because of the refs. South Carolina, there were 2 touchdowns. I think 1 for South Carolina that was called back, and 2 for Florida that weren't called. Abysmal refereeing. I'm sure, I don't know even what the referees were doing in that entire game.
And I hate it when officiating hurts a game like that.
Me too. And you have to hit it for the teams too.
Yeah, you do. Then we had Kentucky face Georgia, and they couldn't score against Georgia.
And the thing was, Fromm also looked absolutely, it was just awful.
Yeah, this one it was 0-0 at halftime.
Yes.
So there was no scoring up to halftime.
Kentucky.
Granted, it was raining. It was pouring.
There were so many games this week, like so many with awful weather that probably played into different scores.
I know this one played in because I think Georgia would have won this a whole lot bigger than this.
Absolutely.
But 21-0.
Hey, how many completed passes did Kentucky have?
Well, Fromm had 9 completed passes for 35 yards.
Yeah, awful.
And then Kentucky, Bowden, their quarterback, had 2 completions.
And those were at the very end of the game.
That's right. 2 completions in the entire game. Yes.
Crazy. That's
Swift,
so
Andre
crazy.
Swift, he got 179 yards on the ground, and that's what did it for Georgia.
Yeah. Crazy stuff.
All right. Ready to talk about this one?
Not really. But
So Boise State, I went to BYU. And of all things that would have happened, I mean, BYU, we talked about this last week. That
they hate us, we hate them.
BYU's, they were struggling this season. We looked at this one ahead of the time, like, this is the game to look for. But good grief.
Man, it was just, so essentially what happened, 10-7 going into the third quarter, and then BYU scores 21 straight. And we just weren't able to recover.
Sure did,
we were able to get, I think, 14 of the points back.
Came close to recovering, 28-25.
It was a close game. We went for 2.
But when you do something like that, get behind by 21
and so,
that quick. Yeah.
I don't want to put the blame on Cord. And the coaching staff did a very poor job of time management and stuff at the end. What it seemed like happened was Broncos offense tried to make Cord Bachmeier, make Cord like Hank, instead of kind of changing the game plan to
play
fit
like he
him.
plays.
He's a dual threat quarterback. He's supposed to run, kind of make plays like that. It seemed like they were trying to make him throw more than he probably should have, especially with BYU's dismal run defense.
Yeah.
It's a tough loss. They're still ranked somehow. I don't know how we're still ranked, honestly, with that. But I'll take it. That means we still have a chance to make it to the New Year's Six Bowl. All we got to do is win our conference and hope someone else slips up.
That's right. Someone's got to slip up. So then Arizona State and went to Utah. Both of these were ranked coming into this one. So we were expecting this to be a pretty good battle.
I mean,
Not
21-3. Utah's
Utah,
defense had this game from the beginning.
Yeah.
And again, Utah, I can't wait till they play Oregon. I don't know if it's regular season or conference championship game. Either way, that's a fun matchup right there.
Yeah.
Oregon's high-flying offense with Justin Herbert versus Utah's
defense.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about your picks. How did it go?
0 for 2, 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
Feels bad. I should have gone with Wisconsin and Boise, apparently. Who would have thought?
You didn't want to do that.
All right.
Yeah, so Oregon went to Washington.
They came back from 14 points down, I'm pretty sure, and then won the game 35-31.
Oh, Washington blew it in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, it really was just a blowing. And then
they were doing it. They were winning this thing and looking really good.
Man, that's a tough loss, especially much needed for Oregon.
Yeah.
Super tough loss for Washington. Not what you want to see.
It is. And then Temple at SMU.
SMU had Temple's
Temple was going to play a lot tougher game than
SMU.
this.
I will say
45-21.
Boise's. I know I'm going back to Boise. Y'all want to be done with all that, but Boise is in a good position because AAC has so much competition right now that can kind of knock each other out. I know Boise does too with Utah State and San Diego State and all those teams later on down the road who are probably going to be ranked by that point. But right now, SMU, Cincinnati, Navy, all three of those teams are ranked, I'm pretty sure. All with only SMU no losses, Cincinnati and Navy only one loss each. That's kind of tough. You kind of got to beat some pretty decent teams. And, I mean, still have to beat UCF, too, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So, I guess we'll see what happens.
We will.
Exciting for Group of 5.
Yep.
Coming down to the end now.
That's our Week 8 results. And so join us when we talk about this coming weekend, Week 9.